So where should you start? Remember, the supply chain is a reflection of your financial plan. And the key question you should be asking, which is at the bottom left, is where do you spend the most in your supply chain today? Is it in your freight cost or in your product cost? And I'll show you a couple of examples here in a minute. But do you understand this part of your financial plan? Do you understand, we always say, and this is something that I love doing, is picking up a P&L and actually converting it into a supply chain P&L. And that supply chain P&L essentially allows me to appreciate quite a few things. A couple of things that it actually does allow me to appreciate is where are people spending the most and where do they have the most risk. So here's one, right? Here's exactly that thing. When I look at the total supply chain cost, I've broken it out here into what is the raw material procurement cost, what's the manufacturing cost, what's the inbound freight, what's the procurement cost, and hence I get the cost of goods, right? So at the end of the day, I've got my cost of goods and my total distribution cost. The two candlesticks in red effectively create the total supply chain costs. If I'm able to break this out and actually appreciate where it is, it doesn't need a rocket scientist by any means to actually say, you know what, my manufacturing costs are the single biggest cost element. And we all know, entrepreneurial enough to know that a 1% savings on the largest bucket is the largest savings, right? But again, I haven't addressed in all of this the most risk. And you can very quickly start to put together a risk assessment as well, very similarly. Now, this is in a manufacturing environment. You could say, I don't have any manufacturing. I buy everything. Sure. You can do the same thing with sourcing. You can actually appreciate that you're spending more. One of the cool things to actually look at is what is the percent of cost of goods versus the distribution cost? What's the percent split between the two? And that's typically very helpful to be able to look at.